Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke. Welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. It's episode 195, I'm saying it right now because I just checked, so right now I remember. And the last episode we read the Contagious House, the White King, the Cuckoo, and the Seagull Island. I don't actually remember there being anything that was cuckoo like in the Cuckoo. I was expecting a cuckoo clock, but I vaguely remember it being not that. So in this one, we're going to be checking out a rice bowl, a night feeder, duct tape, inland lighthouse, and ancient playing cards. The rice bowl probably has jelly donuts in it. Or it can. A safe image of SCP-931 securely locked up. Also, now it's a safe image of NyQuil Severe. I don't know how bad of a cough somebody has to have that they can't sleep that they need severe NyQuil, but there it was. Okay, so. Its item number is SCP-931. Object class is safe. Is this haiku? Its item number is SCP-931. Yeah, it's haiku. Heed these procedures to keep the item secure. Special containment. Kept at Site-19 and a Level 2 locker, but no extra guards. Free access to it is prohibited to most. Need 3rd tier clearance. Effects are triggered by some images of it. Depends on angle. Writing about it will always be affected despite ignorance. A description of SCP-931. It is a rice bowl. White with a blue band and a crackled blue pattern all inside the bowl. 3 inches in height, 4.5 inches across. Metric doesn't fit. No maker's marks found. Suspected to have been made late 1900s. When viewed or handled, the item causes people to write in haiku. Not the classic sense. Themes of nature aren't needed. Just 575. The speech remains unchanged, but trying to write or type ends up as haiku. Exposure effects wear off within a few hours, varies by subject. Anything written about it, also haiku, even if absent. If written by one ignorant of its effects, they are still affected. Its effect appears to be mimetic in source, though not yet proven. Evidence for this? Those exposed who know haiku write proper haiku. Most people exposed who don't know these requirements just know the structure. More information is in audio format, see Dr. Stevens. They've tried transcribing using voice recognition and results looked all wrong. Addendum for 931. This anomaly was used to cross-test, considered useful to further contain hazard, to keep the world safe. Details of cross-tests. This with 2673 locked up in haiku. Okay. A safe image of SCP-931 securely locked up. Huh. Well, it didn't have rice or donuts, it just had haikus. Which, in the grand scheme of things, if ever there was a weird effect to have, being forced to write about it in haiku is not as bad as it could have been. The Night Feeder. Let's say it's Euclid. SCP-932 1 through 8 are to be kept in a 15 by 15 meter room with observational windows furnished with a speaker and a bed with straps. Used to say, during an observation, experimentation, or interaction session. Now it just says, the speaker is to play a tone of 510 Hz at 100 decibels rated as loud to enable visibility of 932. Noise-canceling headphones are available to participating staff on request to facilitate communication. Once every 3 days, a disposable personnel is to sleep in the bed of 932's chamber for feeding purposes. Okay. The speakers need not to be turned on for this purpose. The feeding process is never fatal. However, the straps can be utilized in case of resistance on the part of the disposable class. Disposable dude. Said personnel can be returned to normal duties afterwards. Wild instances of 932 are to be tracked down and captured alive by MTF Dream Hunters. Edit. Following Incident 2, containment breach protocols have been set. The 510 Hz tone is to be played throughout the site if a breach occurs, and all air vents or possible escape routes are to be sealed. All on-site personnel are advised to keep as calm as possible. The following changes are also to be made to 932's containment. The speaker is to be affixed to the wall and play the aforementioned tone at all times, and that a different disposable dude is to be used for each feeding session. Description. SCP-932 are creatures able to adjust the refractive indices indices of their bodies in order to appear invisible. This ability seems to be disrupted when 932 is exposed to sound. A loud tone of 510 Hz neutralizes it completely. When visible, it resembles pale and featureless children. Their height varies from 1.2 to 1.6 meters and weigh approximately 30 to 40 kilograms. In large numbers, 932 have been able to pin down and fully immobilize an adult human. I mean, if they're 1.5 meters, it probably doesn't take several to fully, like maybe 3? I think several is at least 7, and that seems like it's stretched it a bit. Anyway, 932 hunts by silently following an individual to his/her dwelling in groups of no more than 8. If necessary, 932 will lie in wait near or under the victim's bed for several hours until he or she falls asleep and enters a state of rapid eye movement sleep. When the victim enters this state, the pack of 932 will pin the victim down, secreting an unknown pheromone that causes the victim to wake before the REM cycle is complete. So it's sleep paralysis. In most cases, the victim will be conscious but immobile, leading to a general feeling of panic. Initially, it was thought that 932 fed on hormones produced by the panicking victim, but Experiment 4, towel test, seemed to prove otherwise. 932, for all intents and purposes, feeds on fear. It is unknown how this mechanism works or how it detects REM sleep in its victims. SCP-932 is generally docile and does not actively attack researchers. However, if its feeding schedule was disrupted for more than 21 days, it will seem to be more aggressive and alert to its surroundings, and on occasion has tried to subdue researchers entering its containment chamber, despite the researcher being completely awake at the time. Edit. It appears that 932 prefers variation in its diet, as they seem to be more placid at the beginning of the month when a new D-class is introduced than at the end. Suggesting 5 D-class be assigned to our team and taking turns in the feeding session. Researcher Min. Permission under consideration given light of your recent budget scandal. Director Faisal. Permission granted following the events of Incident 2. Okay. And here's the incident report. It was at Site 9 in the Biological Division, the South Wing, number 3-2. And this happened in 1998. I'm not sure how this time clock is working. It looks like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're counting the seconds. Researcher Assistant Bayantara prepares to enter containment chamber for weekly vacuuming. He appears to mumble under his breath. Body language shows apprehension. Records show that Bayantara was a new hire and had little experience with SCPs. The 510 Hz tone plays. They are given the all clear. 932 becomes visible. They turn on the vacuum cleaner and enter the containment chamber. 1 through 6 immediately turn to face him and slowly move towards his direction. He appears startled by this reaction, quickly waving the vacuum cleaner around in an attempt to keep them at bay. 3 tackles Bayantara's legs from behind, causing him to collapse. The other 932 individuals leap on him and keep him down on the floor, apparently inciting a feeding event. Initiating. Bayantara is visibly struggling under the combined weight of 932, accidentally disconnecting the speaker's plug with his kicking feet. They are now invisible. Site security alerted! And observational cameras are switched to the IR mode. 932 are still feeding. Site security arrive but are told not to enter the containment chamber until the feed from the cameras loaded into their HUDs. Researcher assisted Bayantara ceases movement. IR feed shows the pack of 932 lose interest and leave his body. 5 members of site security enter the chamber and disable active members of 932. A preliminary survey revealed that 6 was unaccounted for. Bayantara recovered from containment chamber. Pulse is weak and rapid, and his eyes are wide open and rapidly moving. On closer inspection, his pupils appeared dilated despite the bright conditions of the chamber. Site lockdown initiated. All personnel were advised to remain calm. Site security dispatched for retrieval. The 510 Hz tone is played on the site speakers. Visibility of 1 through 5 confirmed. Multiple motion sensors activated in South Wing air ducts. Camera feed shows 6 exiting from an air duct in Corridor 3A of the South Wing. Security team prepares for retrieval. Camera feed shows another 932 exiting from an air duct in Corridor 3D of the South Wing. Director Faisal expresses the possibility of reproduction. The 510 Hz tone is played through the air ducts via a speaker in the biology office to aid retrieval procedures. Camera feed shows another 932 exiting from an air duct in Corridor 4P of the South Wing. Additional security teams dispatched to contain both new instances. Containment of 3 individuals achieved. Sensors report no more movement in the air ducts. 2 new individuals are labeled 7 and 8 and are contained along with 1 through 6. Note: Research assistant Bayantara is in a comatose state and displays no change in behavior. Further observation is required. After 47 days on life support, Bintaro appeared to mouth something and his eyes ceased movement. He died of cardiac arrest shortly afterwards. I think he said something like, too scared to move, researcher assistant Patyong. So he wasn't so much comatose as the feeling of having these things on top of him all feeding on his fear was so great that the fear just never stopped until he died. Okay, let's see. Let's check out the duct tape. Excuse me? Have I read this one before? I feel like I may have read this one before, once again in preparation for the SCP Containment Breach game, but let's just keep going just in case not, because I recognize this picture. But, no. 933-2, and all affected subjects must be stored in a modified standard artifact containment unit that contains no electronic components. All personnel guarding 2 unaffected subjects must be equipped with standard assault rifles, a high-caliber sidearm, 3 magnesium flares with an active duration of no less than 20 minutes, and protective goggles. In the event of 2 or any affected subjects escaping, all personnel are to activate their flares first and don the protective goggles second. Maximum force is authorized to restore containment. 1 is to be guarded in a manner identically to 2 in the affected subjects. 2 in the affected subjects have shown that they will always make their way directly to 1. How they determine this path is unknown. SCP-933-1 appears to be an innocuous roll of duct tape. Attempts to unroll it by non-affected personnel have proved ineffective. Should I say proven? 2 appears to be a man in a cloak who has absolutely no facial features. All affected subjects bear the same condition, but the rest of their bodies appear as they did before their incidents. While all affected subjects have identical behavior to 2, none of them possesses formidable strength or resilience. Affected subjects have been terminated with no more force than it would take to kill an ordinary person. During Incident 4, 2 sustained 57 bullet wounds before collapsing, which it healed from over the following 238 days. While in possession of 1, 2 will attempt to pin anyone it can perceive, going after the closest targets first. Once 2 has pinned a subject, it will unroll 1 and place it over the subject's eyes, ears, nose, or mouth with no preference. It will then remove 1, completely removing that facial feature. Autopsy has shown that the damage is considerable, with the affected feature having been completely filled in with flesh and bone. 2 will continue to do this until it is stopped or all facial features are removed, at which point the subject is to be treated with the same as the other affected subjects. Subjects afflicted by 1 will experience a strong compulsion to acquire 1. This compulsion is augmented by an unexplained mechanism allowing them to locate 1 at long distances. For reasons unknown, 2 has shown that it is unable to perceive living things that are within 1 meter of a 100 lumen light source. This range increases with the brightness of the light source. 2 has demonstrated that it can cause electronics to fail merely by being around them. This ranges from electronic lights losing power to electronic locks failing in the unlocked position. The extent of this ability is not known. 2 has never directly harmed any personnel, preferring to destroy their weapons and then make use of 1. Addendum partial victims must never come into contact with 1 and are to be transferred to any other facility immediately. All partial victims that have remained at the facility have become obsessed with the idea that if they could handle 1, they could get their facial features back. In all cases, the subjects merely finish removing all their facial features. Let's see, transcript of the post-incident 2 interview of Agent Blank. Do they still have ears? Nope, those looks like the ears are gone too. Enters, Dr. Blank enters the room to interview the agent. How are you feeling, Blank? Who is that? It's me, Blank. Oh, it's good to hear you again, I guess? How do you think I feel? I've lost my goddamn eyes! I'm gonna be stuck guarding 689 or some shit like that. I'm sorry, but you know how things work around here. Yeah, as long as we're useful, we do useful things, but it's worse than that. Worse than losing all the time I put into sharpshooting. What really drives me nuts is that no one talks to me anymore. I'm talking to you. You have to. You're the one writing the report. It's like as soon as I lost my eyes, I stop being a person. I'm serious. The only reason I haven't come to see you until now is because all of this damn paperwork. We'll still go to Blank every other Friday. You'll just have to wear sunglasses. Sure we will. Doc, I've been thinking about the tape. It was the thing that took my eyes. It should still have them, right? Maybe if I could get my hands on it, I could get them back. No one else has been able to use it, but I'll make some calls and see what I can do. Thanks. End of transcription. I don't think they made those calls. Inland Lighthouse. It really does feel like I've read duct tape before. I can only assume that the duct tape is in the SCP Containment Breach game, Although I don't know to what extent, since that game is first person. Maybe you can rip your eyes off, and then you'll always get your neck broken, and then dragged into the walls by Radical Larry and eaten, or whatever it is he does to people. I forget. I don't want to go back there. I don't like looking at his face. Let's see. Containment Area 934-1 has been established in a 5-kilometer radius around 934 under the cover of supposed chemical contamination. I read that out of order. That happens a lot. I'm sure you've noticed. Armed undercover guards must be on station around the perimeter at all times, and any civilians attempting to enter the area or gain access to 934 must be detained and questioned. Description: 934 is the lighthouse near data expunged on the valley property and estate of the late Dr. Blank. Dr. Blank, a renowned scientist, had the functioning lighthouse built on his property at great expense, despite the inland location nearly 65 kilometers from any body of water, citing a need for his grand experiment. SCP-934 was discovered following a routine investigation of Dr. Blank's property by Foundation agents following his disappearance on or about blankety-blank 19-something, due to his former involvement with data expunged. The area was locked down and current containment procedures established following Incident 0, which resulted in the loss of the entire investigation team. Every 7 days, the area surrounding 934 becomes shrouded in a dense fog that obscures all view of 934 and the surrounding estate within a radius of 2 kilometers, hereby known as the Red Zone. During this time, 934 becomes active and emits a strong beam of light consistent with a normal lighthouse of similar design. This fog appears to have anomalous properties, causing all electronics within to behave erratically or malfunction and blocking radio signals, because everything does that here. Do watches die? I don't remember if anything kills watches, but pretty much everything of use dies except for watches and glasses, so far. Furthermore, no personnel who have entered the Red Zone during a period of fog have ever been seen or heard from again. The fog period of 934 persists for approximately 24 hours before the fog dissipates and the lighthouse ceases function. Incident 0, Initial Exploration Log. Following the disappearance of Dr. Blank, a 5-man Foundation team was dispatched to investigate the estate and property and secure any possible data expunged. Excerpts from the transcript of radio traffic follows. This is Lead. We've arrived on site. No sign of anyone in the area. Copy. You're cleared to proceed with the mission. Command, we've entered the manor. The area is clean, like it's been dusted within the last day. Lead, that is not possible. The manor has been under observation for a month, and there's been no sign of anyone entering or exiting the... Command! Someone just turn on the lights. That's impossible. There's no power being fed to the house. Team 1, you're weapons free. I repeat, you are weapons free at this time. Roger, Command. We are weapons free. Sounds of weapons being loaded and readied. Command, Lead. There appears to be hot food set out in the dining room. I count 10 places set. The fireplace is lit as well. We've not seen anyone in the manor or surrounding area. Okay. Command to Team 1, we are aborting your mission at this time. Exit to point P. Backup will be arriving in 1 hour. Copy, Command. Wait. There appears to be some kind... rolling in. Say again, Lead? Appears to be some kind of fog. Command? Lead, you're breaking up. I repeat... Team 1, get out of the house! Do you read me? Team 1, do you read me? Team 1! End of transcript. Contact lost. Approximately 24 hours after contact was lost with Team 1, the fog dissipated and a second team was dispatched. Team 2 found the manor and lighthouse completely abandoned in a state of extreme disrepair and consistent with the reports from Team 1. A thorough search of the manor turned up the clothing and equipment of Team 1 members folded neatly and stacked in the center of an empty second-floor room. The batteries of all their electronic equipment had been completely drained, and recording media and memory cards were empty. Team 2 search for the lighthouse turned up only broken lighthouse equipment in empty rooms, although Team 2's members reported being able to hear a faint buzzing or static that persisted for several days after leaving the area. Okay. And that brings us to the ancient playing cards. Are they going to be Euclid as well? Yeah, they are. SCP-938 is... That's too far. SCP-935 is kept within a standard containment chamber located in Site-19. It's always Site-19, isn't it? It is to be monitored at all times, and in the event of a demanifestation, agents are to begin monitoring all subjects known to carry genetic marker BO1A. Okay. Genetic testing is to be done on all personnel applying for positions in the Foundation, and those who test positive for genetic marker BO1A are to be placed under supervision by Foundation agents. If SCP-935 dematerializes, agents are instructed to first begin surveillance of all subjects carrying 1A. Agents who will be briefed on how to identify these individuals prior to being assigned to 935's containment. When it reappears, it is to be retrieved and returned to containment, with containment procedures being updated. Description: SCP-935 is a box of playing cards, appearing to date from pre-1700 Germany, specifically Brandenburg. All cards composing 935 are well worn, but in playable condition. On the box, the words, "Know this, that I have faith in your life, and not in your death," have been written. If any card is displaced 3 meters or more from the box, the entire set will instantly be teleported into 935. Analysis produces no evidence of vapor or residue, and high-speed camera footage of the cards vanishing has been inconclusive. If the cards themselves are damaged or altered in any way, they will remain in the same condition until a relocation event, after which they will be restored to their original condition. 1700s isn't ancient. In addition, any damage to 935 itself will be regenerated over time. For example, tearing open the lid resulted in the fibrous tissue of the paper becoming animated and reached out to the torn area, pulling each edge closer and intertwining, eventually reconstituting the damaged area 3 minutes and 43 seconds after the test initiated. When a subject carrying 1A reaches the age of 41, 935 will teleport itself into their possession. Attempting to take it from the subject in the first 78 hours following manifestation will result in its immediate return to the subject. All subjects who have possessed 935 have gone missing within 78 hours of coming into possession of it, with one exception. During its time in containment, approximately 6 subjects have been lost after coming into possession of 935, and it is estimated that an additional 67 subjects were lost prior to initial containment. After appearing within the subject's possession, a card within 935 will have detailed instructions on a specific card game to be played by the subject. These are always listed with the caveat that cheating will result in their demise. However, research into 935 affected subjects always shows that they have all died within 78 hours of obtaining it, whether or not they completed the task. 935 appears to make moves on its own, with cards being teleported into their positions as the game is played. Addendum Incident Log. May 4th, 1645. A letter from a wealthy Italian trader to his wife describes 935 in great detail. 1889. John Rawls reported missing in Boston shortly after completing a card game with 935. First confirmed report of 935 in North America, however, it is not recovered at the scene. John Rawls Jr. commits suicide with 935 in his presence. It is later noted to have disappeared from police possession. Eliza Duke and Jacob Rawls vanish after leaving home in a stagecoach. 935 not recovered. It is photographed at the murder scene of McDouglas' Little Bigsy Bow and the third. Susanna Carlito goes missing from her home, and 935 is recovered from the interior, set up for solitaire. Foundation agents discover and retrieve 935. Susanna Carlito was a direct descendant of McDouglas Bow. Foundation Colonel Adrian Bow was killed in a high-speed collision north of San Francisco. His son, Lieutenant Stan Bow, a research scientist stationed within Site-19, retrieves 935 from the crash site and begins studying it. Anomalous properties confirmed shortly afterwards. Following the death of Emery Bow, the Bow Commission is formed to investigate all possible carriers of genetic marker Bow 1A. General Bow is placed in command of the commission. Is that why he knows about the Foundation? Because of this pack of cards? If he only knows about the Foundation because of this pack of cards, why does he have anything to do with Resurrection A9? Anyway, M blank died after being pulled out to sea by a riptide while vacationing in Malibu, California. Her body washed up onto shore in Port Angeles, Washington 14 months later. 935 found within her stomach contents. As Blank had not been previously listed as a 935 candidate by the Bow Commission, containment procedures are currently being revised and ancestral research being done to determine the connection Blank had to the Bow family. 1964, Bow Commission completes the genetic mapping of all subjects who could potentially be affected. The complete list totals approximately 6 subjects, all of which are between the ages of 29 and 40. General Bow is determined to be the most likely candidate for the next event and relieved of command. General Stan Bow was killed during a containment breach within Site-19. Analysis following the breach determines that General Bow had instructed personnel formerly under his command to deliberately instigate a containment breach of SCP Blank in order to destroy 935 and prevent his death. During the course of the breach, 6 additional anomalies had also breached the severely damaged 935's containment area. Following recontainment operations, the deceased Stambo was found in a bunker filled with cards identical to those found in 935 with the word cheat, checked, and thief written on each one. Death determined to be the result of a playing card severing the brainstem. 935 not recontained following the incident. Let's see. Document recovered from the quarters of Stambo following the July 9th incident. If you're reading this, it's probably all over. I'm dead, since I'm cheating the damn cards or whatever they have won, or whatever they are have won, and it's moving on to whoever else it wants dead. It's petty. That's all those things have ever been. Through all the work in the commission, research, and following up on every second cousin 3 times removed, it never added up to anything more than that. It's not supposed to let us cheat, that's why we get both options. If we go honest, it's supposed to let us go. That's how the old-time artifacts like that are supposed to go anyways. But this one is tied to something else. Some other family somewhere in the world that someone stole this damned thing from. It has to be played with them, or given to them at the end, or something. But we can't find it, it's pointless. When it's taking people, they're as good as dead. It probably thinks we're being rewarded or something for being good, honest folks who play by their rules. It has faith in us. I don't want any part of that. I do have a plan, which won't work more than a couple of minutes. It's a little petty, yeah, but 2 can play at this game. Maybe it'll finally learn to leave us alone, find someone else to pick on. Addendum. July 19th, 2000, Fred Bow was determined to be the final subject carrying genetic marker 1A. During the 935 manifestation event, Bow won against 935 in a game of war. Notably, following this event, all figures depicted on the cards were altered to resemble subjects who had disappeared after being affected by 935. In addition, the text found on 935 was altered. Fred Bow was not affected following the conclusion of the game. Thank you for ending the game and congratulations on peace. We are all very happy and proud of you, Fred. Mommy and Daddy and all the brothers sisters clap for your victory. You were able to win without even needing to be fraudulent or to bend all the rules in winning. We are happy for you and to be free and all times are over. Your reward is not to be rewarded. This is a happy end. 935 has retained its regenerative properties and as such, containment procedures for a safe reclassification are ongoing. I can only assume that the Resurrection A9 is in a separate universe from this pack of cards since General Bow is still alive. I don't know. I should probably check to see if that's updated any. If they're still working on that instead of making more freaking SCP ones. But that aside, that about does it for this episode of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. In the next episode, we're going to be checking out Fruit of Man, Walking Sticks, Blood and Thunder, with many voices and Aranea marionettes. So, thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later!